Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Quick Draw, we're riding those balls when we take a look at the Tonkor. Now, I'm sure that it's no surprise whatsoever that I, of all people, am extremely fond of balls that explode upon contact. However, while this walking joke of a weapon fuels many inappropriate comments, it also proves itself to be a powerhouse. Combining one-of-a-kind mechanics with critical-based stats, the Tonkor proves that you can successfully pull off being both very naughty and very nice. So you can pick up the Tonkor's blueprints in the market for 30,000 credits. Just be aware that it will cost you Oxium, Cryotic, and Argon crystals. But let's be real here, we should just celebrate the fact that it doesn't cost us a penta or something. However, if there is no way that you can contain your urge to start unloading your balls, you can always pick it up in the market pre-built along with a catalyst and weapon slot for 200 plat. So the Tonkor's primary damage type is Blast, with its grenades dealing puncture damage upon impact. Now, as we know, Blast isn't the greatest when it comes to taking advantage of elemental weaknesses, only gaining an upper hand against fossilized ancients. Now, do note that it has a rough time against ferrite armored units, so be sure to equip the appropriate elemental combos in order to ensure the optimal amount of damage. Okay, so the Tonkor is a Grineer-themed grenade launcher, whose projectiles will only detonate upon contact with an enemy or ally. Otherwise, they'll bounce off of terrain similar to the Penta. These grenades do of course count as projectiles and have a flight speed as well as a flight arc. Zooming in creates a visual display that presents you with the estimated path of travel. In addition, grenades that do not hit their targets hang around for about 5 seconds after they've settled into their landing spot, allowing you or additional enemies to trigger them within that time frame. Now, its grenade's unique features don't stop there. As I mentioned, their explosions can also be triggered by allies, launching them high into the air as they ride the explosion's shockwave. Do note that while you do take damage from the explosion, it is a very small percentage as compared to the damage enemy units will take. With a build that deals almost 8,000 points of raw damage, I was only taking a hit of 92 points versus my shields. Now, speaking of damage, while most explosive weapons are fairly straightforward, the Tonkor has a base crit chance of 35%, which actually beats out the Soma. With a max crit mod, this thing jumps to an 85% crit chance. And for those who feel the need to take it all the way, tossing on a critical delay brings it up to 104%. It also comes with a 2.5 crit multiplier, which maxed out allows its crit to deal 5.5 times its modified damage. Now, clearly, there have to be some trade-offs made, and the Tonkor definitely takes it right in the balls, as its max clip size is only 2. And as with all explosive weapons, it has a limited ammo capacity which is capped at 40, and draws from the sniper ammo pool. So while you can't win them all, you can have a blast unloading 2 balls at once. Now, speaking of unloading, and balls, and explosions, legitimately like this whole review up to this point, can we talk? Okay, let's face it, any jokes I make beyond this point are all easy marks to hit, maybe even too easy, which brings me to my point. I get a lot of shit for being vulgar, but with weapons like the Tonkor, whose balls are set to explode all over your enemies, the Halakar, which is blatantly a bent dick, and the original walking joke the Stug, which I shouldn't even have to elaborate on at this point. I'm just saying what's already in people's heads, and you know how much I love messing with heads. See, the fact is some people spend way too much time putting too much emphasis on being grown up and taking themselves way too seriously, instead of letting themselves have a laugh at a dumb joke. They just need to pull that stick out of their ass, then push it back in, and then pull it back out. But not all the way, then back in again. And you know, with enough of that, I'm sure they'll come to appreciate a little bit of vulgarity. If not, then they can go fuck themselves some more. With that said, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, if 6 Forma didn't make it clear, I really like the Tonkor. While aiming can be a bit of a pain due to its flight speed, projectile arc, and the fact that sometimes those little suckers can slip right in between your target's legs, if you've had a lot of practice aiming with the Penta, you shouldn't have too much trouble adjusting. Now, sadly, the Tonkor doesn't come with any additional polarities, and for those of you who are experienced builders, you know that crit builds require a good amount of Forma. So if you want to make the most of this weapon, you're definitely going to have to do some investing. But at the end of the day, it is a very small price to pay, knowing that you can happily blow yourself away without getting hurt. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you want some of the who, what, where, whens, and whys on primary crit builds, be sure to check out my overkill tutorial. And for those of you who are curious about my irradiating disarm build, I'll toss up a link to that as well. Now don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned to watch me bounce around on more balls, here at A Gay Guy Plays. And that's what happens when people try to touch me with their sticks without my consent.